What if everything you're looking for is already within you? Have you ever thought about that? What if the only obstacle between where you are now and where you've always dreamed of being is yourself? Yeah, I know those words hit hard, but maybe it's time to face that truth head on. Do you know what hurts the most? It's not failure. It's not making mistakes or stumbling. What truly hurts is doubt. That irritating voice in your head constantly asking, what if I had tried? What if I hadn't given up? You've felt that, haven't you? That void when you realize you settled, that you let fear make decisions for you. Now think about this. What if you could change that? What if today, right now, you had the chance to turn things around? But here's the raw, unfiltered truth. No one's going to do it for you. No one's coming to save you. Because in the end, the only person who can transform your life is you. Does that feel heavy? Maybe, but it's also liberating. Because it means you don't need permission. You don't need to wait for someone to give you an opportunity. Everything you need is already there, just waiting for you to have the courage to use it. So let me ask you again, what if you're capable? Capable of going further, of overcoming what seemed impossible, of proving to yourself that you're bigger than any obstacle? Because deep down, you already know the answer. The real question is, are you ready to act? How many times have you looked in the mirror and disliked what you saw? I'm not just talking about appearance. I'm talking about that feeling of looking deep into your own eyes and realizing you're stuck. Stuck in a routine that doesn't make you happy, in a cycle that feels like it has no escape. Man, that hurts. It cuts deep. And do you know what's worse? It's not just the pain of where you are right now, but the pain of everything you know you could have been and weren't. How many times have you laid your head on the pillow with a heavy heart, thinking, damn, I could have done more, I should have tried? And then, in the silence of the night, regret creeps in. Not regret for what you did, but for what you didn't even attempt. Because that's what really gets to us, you know? It's not failure. Failure, at least, proves you tried. But stagnation, that's treacherous. It makes you believe it's okay to stay in the same place while life passes you by, slipping through your fingers. And look, I know how easy it is to settle. Your mind starts to deceive you. Oh, it's fine like this, come on, I'll do it tomorrow. No need to rush. But let me tell you something. Tomorrow is the biggest lie you can tell yourself. Because tomorrow never comes. All you have is now. I know it's hard. I know sometimes it feels like the weight of the world is on your shoulders. But let me ask you this. How much longer can you live like this? How much longer are you going to let the idea that it's normal to feel empty control you? Man, normal is truly living. Normal is waking up every day knowing you're building something. You don't deserve to spend your whole life in this limbo, watching others live while you just survive. This isn't a rehearsal. There's no second chance to live this life. And I know you feel it. You feel that something is wrong. The question is, are you going to keep ignoring that voice inside you? Or are you finally going to do something about it? Because deep down, you know, no one's coming to rescue you. It's you against yourself. Let me ask you something. Have you ever looked closely at a flame? Small, fragile, dancing in the air as if it could disappear at any moment. It seems harmless, right? But do you know what happens if you feed it? If you give it space, oxygen, and fuel? That same flame turns into a fire capable of lighting up the darkness or consuming everything in its path. Now listen, you are that flame. Small? Maybe. Fragile? Only on the surface. But you have within you the same power to grow, to transform, to impact. The problem is that you spend so much time doubting yourself that you don't even realize the potential waiting to be ignited. How many times have you told yourself, oh, I'm not good enough. I can't do it. This isn't for me? Man, stop that. That voice in your head isn't your friend. It's the echo of every time you were underestimated, of every time someone said you couldn't make it. But let me tell you something. Just because you believed it until now doesn't mean it's true. Have you ever seen an eagle learning to fly? At first it falls. It stumbles over its own fear. And do you know what gets it back up again? It's not courage, it's instinct. That deep, inner voice that says, you were born for this. You were born to fly. You've felt that, haven't you? That urge to be more, to do more, to prove to yourself that you're bigger than any obstacle. But something always stops you, always holds you back. Now is the moment to pause and ask yourself, what's really holding me back? Is it the world? Or is it me? Because the truth is hard but liberating. What limits you isn't what's outside. It's what's inside. It's the invisible chains you've created over time. The no's you accepted, the excuses you made, the opportunities you let slip by. But do you know the good news? You have the key. Yes, you. That key is your ability to believe you can. It's your decision to stop looking back and start looking forward. So tell me, what's stopping you from lighting that flame for good? Because the fire is already there inside you, waiting. The only thing missing is your decision to fan the embers. Take a moment to look back, not to dwell on the past, but to remember one thing. You've already won so many battles you don't even recognize anymore. Remember those days when you thought you wouldn't make it? Those dark nights when everything seemed lost? Those times when the world felt like it was collapsing on you. But you kept breathing, kept moving? Exactly. You got through it. And do you know what that means? You're much stronger than you think. You know that saying, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger? It's not just a cliche, it's real. Every time you fell and got back up, something inside you became more resilient, more prepared. You're like steel being forged in fire. And my friend, the fire may be intense, but it transforms something raw into a sharp blade, ready to cut through any obstacle. So let me ask you, why are you doubting yourself now? Why do you believe this challenge in front of you is the end of the line? It's not the end. It's just another step on the staircase. A staircase that, yes, is high and sometimes seems impossible to climb. But do you know how you reach the top? One step at a time. You need to understand that life isn't about never stumbling, never failing. Life isn't built on perfection. It's built on persistence. It's about getting back up every time life knocks you down. Because, trust me, life will try. It will test you, challenge you, and push you to see how far you can go. But it's in those moments that you discover what you're truly made of. You've faced storms before. You've encountered the impossible and come out the other side. So why would it be any different now? Be like bamboo. It bends with the strongest wind but never breaks. It bounces back stronger, more resilient. Or like the river, which encounters stones in its path but never stops. It flows around, over, or even carries the stones along with it. Life will give you reasons to stop. It will place obstacles in your path. Try to convince you that you can't. But you know what you say to it? I can. I will. I'm going to. The power is already inside you. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to have all the answers. You just need to believe enough to take the next step. Because when you look up at the top of the mountain, it seems impossible. But when you focus on the next step, it starts to feel smaller. So go. Go with fear. Go with doubt. Go even with pain if you have to. But don't stop. Because every time you keep moving, you're proving to yourself that you can win. And when you get there, you'll look back and realize, I've never been this strong. Enough is enough. It's time. It's time for you to look in the mirror and say to yourself, enough. Enough excuses. Enough blaming others. Enough settling for less than you deserve. Because if you keep waiting for the perfect moment, guess what? It's never going to come. Life isn't going to stop to give you a green light. Let me tell you something. No one's coming to rescue you. There's no hero arriving with a cape to take you out of where you are. The only person who can change your life is you. So tell me, what are you waiting for? Because, my friend, while you're thinking, while you're hesitating, time is passing. And time, unlike you, doesn't stop. Do you think it's too early? It's not. Do you think there's still time? Be careful. Because later turns into never in the blink of an eye. It's time to get out of bed, break free from this lethargy, and start acting. It's time to face the fact that every lost day is one less day to achieve everything you've dreamed of. But I know it's easier to stay where you are. It's comfortable, isn't it? You don't have to take risks. You don't have to fail. You don't have to hear the "I told you so" from those who doubted you. But tell me something. Is that really what you want? An okay life? A safe, boring life? Or do you want more? Because wanting isn't enough. Wanting is the first step, but if you don't act, it remains just a dream. So let me ask you, what are you willing to do? Are you willing to leave your comfort zone? Are you willing to face your fears, even when it feels like everything is against you? Are you willing to become the person you were born to be? It's time to change, and change hurts. It hurts to face your own mistakes. It hurts to admit that you've been living below your potential. But do you know what hurts more? Looking back 10, 20, 30 years from now, and realizing you wasted the only life you had. So let me tell you this with absolute clarity. The time to act is now. Not tomorrow, not next Monday, not when conditions are perfect. It's now. The world isn't going to wait for you. Life is passing by while you decide. And every second you hesitate is a second you'll never get back. Are you ready? Because if you are, there are no more excuses. Stand up, take a deep breath, and take the first step. And when doubt creeps in, remember one thing. The difference between those who dream and those who achieve is the courage to start. So go. Go now. And show the world, and most importantly yourself, what you're made of. Do you know what's inside you? I'm not talking about your heart, your lungs, or any of that. I'm talking about strength. I'm talking about fire. I'm talking about that raw, untamed power waiting to be unleashed. That power can change everything. Your life, your future, who you are. But here's the crucial point. Only you can release it. Listen, the time for hiding is over. The time for playing small, accepting crumbs, living halfway. It's done. This is the moment you decide. Decide to stand up. Decide to fight. Decide to truly live. Do you think you're not enough? I'm telling you, you are more than enough. Do you think you can't? I'm telling you, you can do anything. And do you know why? Because you were made for this. Every step you've taken so far, every fall, every tear, every pain, it was all preparation. Preparation for something far greater. The life you want is right there, in front of you, but it's not going to come to you. No, you have to go to it. You have to claim what's yours, fight for what you believe in, and prove, not to others, but to yourself, that you're capable. You know that dream you have, the one that gives you chills just thinking about it. It's waiting for you, but it will only happen if you decide it will. Because no one will believe in you until you believe first. No one will applaud you until you take the first step. So, why not start? Why not now? Think about the story you want to tell. Think about the day you'll look back and say, I did it. I made it. I won. And now let me tell you something. That story starts today. It starts with your decision to stop waiting, to stop doubting, and to start acting. You were born for this. You were born to win, to grow, to impact the world around you. What you're holding inside isn't small, isn't insignificant. It's big, it's strong, it's unique, and now it's time to let it out. So lift your head, fill your chest with air, feel that fire burning inside you, and let it guide you. Because the world doesn't need more excuses. It doesn't need more regrets. The world needs you, strong, determined, unstoppable. Go for it. Show the world who you are. Show yourself what you've always known. That not only are you capable, you were born for this. Now is all you have. Hear this clearly. The only moment that matters is this one. It's not tomorrow. It's not an hour from now. It's not when you feel ready. It's now. That perfect moment you've been waiting for, it's never going to come. Let me ask you, how many times have you postponed a dream, a decision, or an important step because you thought it wasn't the right time? And what happened? Time passed, and that opportunity vanished. Because that's what time does. It doesn't wait for anyone. It doesn't care about your excuses, your fears, or your procrastination. It just keeps going. Time is like sand slipping through your fingers. You can try to hold on, but it will escape. Every second you hesitate, every minute you delay, is a piece of your life you'll never get back. It's a step you didn't take toward what you truly want. Think about this. Life is a game of time. Everyone gets the same 24 hours in a day, but not everyone makes the same choices. Some use time to build, while others waste it. And what defines who you'll become? It's what you do now. It's not easy to hear this, is it? because we like to believe we have all the time in the world. But do you know what the truth is? The clock is ticking. It's ticking for me, for you, for all of us, and it won't stop. So let me ask you, what are you waiting for? Are you waiting for the fear to go away? Are you waiting to feel confident, motivated, inspired? Because, let me tell you a secret, that might never happen. And do you know what's worse? While you wait, the world keeps spinning. Opportunities are passing by, and other people who might not even have half of your potential, are taking what should have been yours. Life is like a storm. If you wait for the wind to stop before stepping outside, you'll never leave. But if you have courage, if you decide right now, you can weather any storm. Because the time to act isn't when everything feels safe or comfortable. The time to act is when you feel the need. Look around. Everything you see today, all the achievements you admire, the people you respect, it all began with someone who decided to act. And do you know when? It wasn't when everything was perfect. It was in the middle of the mess, in the middle of doubt, in the middle of chaos. So stop waiting. Stop making excuses. It doesn't matter if the path seems long, if you think you're not ready. Take the first step now, because now is the only moment you're guaranteed. If you let now pass, it becomes the past. And the past is a place filled with regrets. But if you seize the now, it becomes the future. A future you created with your choices, your courage, your determination. The now is right in front of you, looking at you, waiting for you to make a decision. What will you do? Because the clock isn't stopping. It's ticking. Tick-tock, tick-tock. And every second that passes is either a second lost or a second won. The choice is yours. Will you watch time pass, or will you use it to build something great? Because the truth is simple. Now is all you have, and it's all you need. Every single day, you have the opportunity to decide who will win this fight. Is it the version of you that settles, or the one that fights? The version that finds excuses, or the one that finds solutions? The version stuck in the past, or the one building the future? Let me tell you something. The world out there isn't holding you back. It's not conspiring against you. The only real obstacle between where you are and where you want to be is you. And that may sound harsh, but do you know what it means? That you're also the solution. That everything you need to win is inside you. And I know it's not easy. It's not easy to look in the mirror and admit that you've been sabotaging yourself. That sometimes it's not others' fault but your own choices, or the lack of them. But do you know what's amazing? The moment you accept this, you gain power. Because if the problem is you, then the solution is too. So tell me, who do you want to be? The person who gives into laziness, fear, and doubt? Or the person who faces it all head-on and proves to themselves that they're bigger than all of it? Because that's the real victory. When you look inside and realize you can overcome yourself. That you can overcome that voice telling you can't. Every time you get out of bed and do what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it, you're winning. Every time you choose to fight, even when it feels easier to give up, you're winning. Every time you decide that you will be the reason for your success, not your failure, you're winning. And do you know what's incredible about this fight? The more you win, the stronger you become. The harder it gets for that negative voice to bring you down. Because you start building confidence. You start proving to yourself, day after day, that you're capable. So what will it be? Today, now, in this moment, you have a choice. Will you be your worst enemy or your greatest ally? Will you limit yourself or free yourself? Will you hide or will you fight? Because in the end, it's you versus you. And let me tell you something. I believe you can win this fight. The question is, do you?